Alright, in this video we're going to work with two problems that we created in two other videos where we started with the pseudocode and went right into the code. And what I pointed out then was that the output from the program wasn't quite formatted. As you can see right here on the screen, the decimal places go up to 4 places. Well, we're dealing with currency here, so we really want currency to go to 2 places like this one worked out to be. Right? Nothing's forcing this to be to 2 places, just calculated that way. So here we're going to fix this problem. Alright, with a couple different steps. So we're going to introduce a new library first. Alright, so here's that code for that program. We're going to add a new library up here, which allows us to do the formatting of the code. And we call that one IO manip. At least that's how I've been always calling it. Alright, and with that added, we're going to come down here where our output is, because this is really what we want to be formatted. So let's change just this one to start with. Alright, so in here we're going to put what's called setprecision. That sets precision, there it is. And we're going to set it, give it a 2 right there. And we're going to output there. Alright, so I only changed the 1 there. And let's recompile this and see what happens. And you should see a difference here. Alright, and here's that output. Alright, so I put the set precision in one of the statements. Alright, this one didn't get modified, it was already at 2, but we should put it so it affects this one also. But I put it in this one to show you that it does not affect this one in any way, but it did affect this output and this total output. It rounded it to 2 places, but this one happened to work out to be zeros and so forth. In terms of rounding off is the way it did it. So we don't like that kind of output. Obviously it's not clean. So what we really want to do now is we're going to modify this a little bit more, and we're going to take this now, and actually this whole thing here, because really we want all these to have the same outputting. So we should be able to do this. Right, so they're all going to be the 2 places, but we also want to do a show point and a fixed. Alright, the show point will always force it that it puts out the decimal place. Fixed means not to put it to like the e to the power kind of thing, and precision says up to 2 decimal places. Alright, and we run that again. And here's our output now. So you can see these are being forced now to 2 decimal places. We rounded up to the 2 decimal places. If you remember what the values were before, there was, I believe, a 9 out here, so we rounded it to 2, 2 and 3, and so forth. Same thing down here. So this will always now give us 2 decimal places. Alright. And to show you what happens, what this show point forces to happen, I'm going to come up here and change. Let's change this 845 to zeros. Alright, and run that program again. Alright, that's the old one, and here's the change to it. I changed it to the $8, and there's the 2 zeros. Alright. So kind of what we expected, since we set it to $8.00. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this one since we've seen that change now. But what I'm going to do now is take this out again, comment it out simply. I'm removing that so it doesn't force the show point, doesn't set it to 2 positions or anything else like that. And we'll compare the 2 windows. Alright, here's the new output. And you can see that it just shows an 8. It doesn't show the 2 zeros like the previous one did. So since I don't have the show point on there or any of the formatting, it's not going to show the decimals, it's not showing the zeros, because zeros are meaningless in terms of decimals. Right? It holds no value. And we can see we lost precision here too. So we had 2697 here, which rounded up to 70, because the 7 rounded to 9 up to 0, carrying the 1 made this to 70. And here we have 23.7, so we rounded the 23 up to the 24. And we lost the decimal places here. So the show point and the fix forces it to always have a decimal place. You'll fill in with zeros if it has to, right? Putting it back in and showing you the changes again. So you get a good output, right? And we're dealing with currency, so that's really what we want to see. And there we see it. Right? It's always in currency format. Right? Same thing here, forcing it all to nice clean format. If I take that one line of code, just to show you quickly again, on the other program that we did, this is the one about the juice boxes. Right? And this does not affect the calculations here. Right? You see all this is commented out, so I gotta put it back in. Alrighty. There we go. And I'm gonna comment this one out, of course, because we can't have two mains in the same file. So I need to comment that one out. And I need to add the library to this one, the new one, so it knows those commands. Alright. And I'm not going to change anything else, but we're going to see our format is nicely formatted in terms of currency. And there's the output, right? We didn't put the $ in the output strings, but you can see we are two decimal places now, where before it went out multiple decimal places. Alright, so in your programs now, when you're dealing with currency, you should always be using a statement similar to this. This too can be any value you want. If you need to format to 5 places for a different program, it's not dealing with currency or something, you just change that to a 5. But these three things should always be pretty much paired together. Right, so you get that look and feel of things. Alright, good luck.